This is day 4 of our Leetcode daily question series, and today's question is longest palindrome. In this question, we are given with a string S which contains lowercase and uppercase characters. We have to return the length of the longest palindrome that can be built with those characters. And letters are case sensitive, so capital A is not equals to capital small a. And as it says in example, input S equals to A, B, C, 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 D, D. Output is 7. As in this case, we can build a palindrome like D, C, C, A, C, C, D. We have to exclude one B from here. And let's try to understand the problem more thoroughly. Now let's understand the problem with an example. So the given example I have taken is S equals to A, B, B, C, 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 D, D and 2 capital A. As capital A and small a are two different things in this question. The longest palindrome that can be generated from this string is this. So what will be our approach? Our approach is that we will store count of every characters in the string as A is appearing 4 times, B appeared 3 times, C appeared 3 times, D appeared 2 times, and capital A appeared 2 times. Now after storing the number of characters, number of times a character appeared, we know that if a number appeared even times, it can be fixed in a palindrome string. Like we can write A 4 times and we can insert anything in between, and it doesn't matter if we insert anything in between in a palindrome form, the number will be palindrome. So if the number is appearing even times, all of the characters can be used to make a palindrome number. But if a number is appearing 3 times, let's say B is appearing 3 times, let's say C is also appearing 3 times, let's take 3 B's. In this case we can use 3 B's as we can use an extra element in between which is appearing only a single time. But when we move to the case of C, we can use only 2 C's. As you can see, we can place 1 C here and place 1 C here. We can't place the third C. So the approach is that if the number is appearing odd number of times, we can use only n minus 1 times the number is appearing. So we are making a new variable count, and count will store the frequency of elements which are appearing odd number of times, so that we can subtract the total string size with them to get the final answer. Now in this case there are 2 elements with appearing odd number of times, and those are B and C. But in this case we know that if an element is appearing odd number of times, once it can be used. Here we have used B, so we have to subtract the count after that. After the traversal, if count equals to 0, that those 2 elements B and C are appearing odd number of times, we have to decrement the count at final. And in the last case we will have count equals to 1. This is the value we will subtract with the size of the string. So our final result will be returned as dot size minus the final count, which is the decremented one. So this will be our final result, and this will tell the longest palindrome that we can generate with the given string. Now let's see how we will store the frequency of every element. For storing frequency of every character, we will make a vector 52 which will store frequency of every character. The indexes are corresponding written. The index 0 is corresponded to character A, 1 is to B, and finally 51 is corresponded to Z. So we will just increment the values here, right here. The initial values are 0 here, and so as we are declaring the vector like vector int v 52 0, so size is 52 and values are 0 at initially, and we will just increment the values which we will find in the string. So what we will do, we will just take a loop for I equals to 0, I less than s dot size I plus plus. If int of si is greater than 96, it means the character is the small character, small a, small b, small c, or it is a small alphabet, because the ASCII values of small alphabets start from 97. The small a holds the ASCII value 97. So we will just increment v of int si minus a plus plus. So it will correspond to letter 0. If a is 97, 97 minus 97 will be 0. And else part, we will just put the value after 26th index, because starting 0 to 25th index are required for holding small characters frequencies. So we will increment the values at the from the 26th index. The 26th index holds the value for capital A, and similarly the 51st index holds the value for capital Z, and we will just convert the into the xi value. So int of s of I minus a, as in this string, if I is here, int of si will be capital A minus a will be 0, and plus 26 will be here. So the value written here will be 2 after the execution of the loop, as initial values are 0, and value at a will be 4, value at b will be 3, value at c will be 3, and let's just adjust these. Value at d will be 2. Okay, so after doing this operation, we will hold the every character frequency in vector v, and after this execution we can simply tell which character is appearing odd number of times and which character is appearing even number of times. And after this we will remove the characters, we will just count the values of the, we will just count that how many values are appearing odd number of times, and we will subtract from the total size, and we will increment 1 if the count is updated. So let's jump into the code and understand the code. So in the code we are doing same, we are initializing a vector with size 52, and we were increasing the frequency of every character and storing the frequency of every character in the vector. And after this we are checking how many characters are, the frequency of how many characters is odd. So if any frequency is odd, count will be updated, and if count is greater than 0, we will decrement the count, because we know that we can place at most one character in between, as here the size is also, as here the a is repeating odd number of times, a is only 1, frequency of a is 1, but we can place one in between, because of the palindrome number we can place one number at the center and it will not affect the palindrome number. So that's why we are decrementing the count here if the count is greater than 0, and if count is not greater than 0, then we don't have any odd number of character, so we don't need to decrement the count. And after that we will just return n minus count, which is the n is size, and the size is, let's say size is 8 here, and after the size we will decrement the count, how many characters are appearing odd number of times, and this will give our final result, which is the longest palindrome I can generate, or we can generate, with a given string. Let's submit our code. So our code is accepted. Thank you for watching.